Okay, so the Galaxy Fold. We're at the point now where Samsung has recalled all of the review units out there, and they're going to try to fix it and just relaunch this whole product in a little bit. Clearly there was something wrong with the Fold, at least the original devices, and they're going to do what they can to resolve this whole thing. But as I sat here thinking about the situation, I thought, how did we get here? Like, how did we get to the point where Samsung was putting out a device like this that felt so unrefined and so rushed out into the market? And I just thought about this sequence of events that basically put Samsung in this position where they were almost forced to do this. So in 2018, there were rumors, like a lot of rumors, that Samsung was going to put out the first folding phone. It was like, hey, you know, that's cool. That's the first new type of phone technology that a lot of people were interested in. But at the same time, there were rumors that a competitor, Huawei, was trying to do the exact same thing, but they were trying to beat Samsung to that title of the world's first foldable phone. But then in late 2018, there was an accusation of theft. There were some South Korean prosecutors that were charging some executives for selling the technology of bendable OLED screens to a Chinese competitor. And one of those competitors that were purchasing this stolen technology was a company called BOE. They're one of the suppliers for Huawei's phones. In fact, they're making the bendable OLED screen for the upcoming foldable Huawei phone, the Mate X. So fast forward this whole thing to, I guess, 2019 February, where the Galaxy Fold is launched at the Samsung event. And no one had seen this phone prior to the event. It was pretty cool that they'd kept it secret, but it's 2019. Leaks are everywhere. We see phones like 6, even 8 months before they get announced. How did Samsung keep this phone under wraps this entire time? And it makes me think of one or maybe two possible scenarios. One possibility is that maybe very few people had access to this phone. Like maybe their test group was really small and they just wanted to keep it very contained, very secretive, so that it wouldn't get leaked. The other possibility is that maybe this device just got off the manufacturing line. Like it's not fully tested, but they just wanted to show it out to the public so that they could be first. And then they would take that time after the event to sort things out and then kind of deal with the aftermath. But in either of those cases, there's not a lot of testing involved, and we've seen the results. We've seen these devices now. iFixit did a teardown of it. This is a very fragile device. It's kind of weird as to how easy it is for crap to get into the phone. Like up front, under the display, there's a little bit of a gap, stuff can get in there, and then on the back, there's a gap that runs along the whole length of the hinge that stuff can get in. And once it's in there, it's very likely that it's gonna stay in there. And that's what the cause of a lot of these problems are. I'm not talking about like the peeling of the protector. It's that when stuff gets into the phone, it busts the screen from the back. The hinge mechanism looks robust and the panels themselves are supposedly rated for like 200,000 folds. It's not the hardware, like individually all the parts are great. It's just that when you have moving parts like this and they're all combined, when there's one point of weakness, the thing will fail. And in this particular case, it's the fact that there's no ingress protection. There's just so many places that dirt and other particulate matter can get into the phone and break things. So this is where things get a little bit weird. When you look at the problem that this phone has, it's not like some obscure problem. Dust is a very real thing, it's everywhere. And if they had done some proper testing, and I'm not talking like super extensive testing, like actual testing of this device in real world scenarios, not just like folding the screen with machines, but actual testing in people's hands, they would have picked up on this. I mean, look at the number of review units out there that have had issues from stuff getting into the phone. It's clearly a pretty common occurrence. But the reason why this happened is because Samsung is Samsung. They're a company that feels pressure from the market, from the consumers, to do things quickly. And sometimes they take shortcuts and sometimes those shortcuts don't pan out. But other companies like Apple, for example, they don't feel that same kind of pressure, at least not to the same degree. Like AirPower, for example, they wanted to launch something and they tried for a while to make it work, and when it didn't work and it couldn't make it happen the way they wanted it to, they just axed the product. And obviously that's just a charger, but Samsung really wanted to be first this time around. And honestly, I feel like they should have been first. They're one of the pioneers in OLED bendable technology, and they deserved it. They deserved to be first. And when you have pressure like Huawei that was going to release a bendable phone of their own, like think about how they feel. Do we really want that company, Huawei, to come out first and be like, hey, we have the world's first bendable phone? They wanted to be first. They took a couple shortcuts to get there, and that's where we are right now. We have a recall on a product. Now, there's a part of me that feels like, you know, Samsung, they shouldn't have done this, but there's a bigger part of me that just feels bad for them. They got backed into this corner. They got pushed into this situation where they had to rush it and try to be first. And now we're in a situation where it might look bad for the company. I mean, I think Samsung's doing the right thing to recall it and trying to do what they can to fix it, but it also affects the public kind of perception of what folding technology is like. For any folding phone that comes out in the future, people will question its durability and reliability just because Samsung, a huge company, messed up on their launch. But that's what we have, and I genuinely hope that Samsung is able to resolve whatever issues they had with that phone, because playing with that phone is one of the coolest things I've been able to experience in quite a while in tech. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. See you guys next time.